Let me hit you with something that might sting a little bit. Prospects are making a decision about whether to hire your agency before they even speak to you, and it's happening a lot faster than you think. Most of the agencies I work with aren't losing deals because of the quality of their work. They're losing deals because the quality of their pitch materials doesn't match up to their talent. So I was recently talking to an agency owner that had, lost out on a big deal. And I think they did something brave. They went to the prospect and they asked them, what happened? Why didn't you hire us? And the prospect basically came back and said, we thought your work was great, but the other agency felt more professional. So that translated to me as, they had a better presentation and that presentation sealed the deal for them. So again, it wasn't about just the quality of the work. It was about perception. The other agency came looking polished, credible, and ready. And because of that, they felt like the much safer bet to the prospect. And so here's a truth that most agencies just don't want to hear. It's not just about the quality of your work and how good your work is. It's about how confident and credible your deck and your presentation makes you look and makes the prospect feel. So that essentially means that design matters. And I think that's a big piece to the puzzle of capabilities decks that a lot of agencies just simply aren't focusing on. Because think about it from the prospect's perspective. If you don't hold your own work, your own materials, your own presentation to a certain high standard, how can they be confident that you'll hold the work you're doing, for them to that high standard? So it's definitely important to make sure that you're putting the best foot forward, not just for yourself and your own agency, but because of the perception that I mentioned before. You want to be perceived as the most professional, safest, most credible bet. That's really going to go a long way as far as building trust and confidence with the prospect that you're pitching. And having a subpar deck with poor design, it doesn't just cost you one client, it costs you in compounding ways. So you lose the one prospect, they don't become a client. You lose any potential referrals from them because they're not impressed. So why would they refer you? You lose out on a case study you could create from working with them. You lose out on, future business, having them as a return client. So it just snowballs. And you really want to make sure that with clients and leads being so hard to come by these days, with the agency space just so cramped, you really want to optimize your capabilities deck and your pitch, not just from the copy and the positioning, but also with the design so that you're really standing out and you're really showing up in the most impressive way. Because essentially in today's world, perception is reality. And that capabilities deck is your first opportunity to set that perception for potential clients. So it's super important to make sure that you're firing on all cylinders for your capabilities deck. And just a mindset shift to think about this. Think about your capabilities deck as your agency storefront. So, your prospects, they're window shopping, they're looking in, are they interested? Do they want to learn more? Do they want to go in and start actually shopping in the store? Think about it like that. You really want to be putting your best foot forward with your pitch deck. I'll do another video about pitch deck versus website, but your deck really is that first step in kind of setting that perception and making sure you look credible and polished. So you really want to take it seriously. And again, it's not just the design, it's the combination of the design with your agency positioning, with your copywriting, with your case studies and proof points, and how all of those things play together to build the most compelling sales journey where you're taking that prospect step by step through a choreographed journey, which at the end lands with why they should hire your agency. But again, think about it as a storefront. Think about your prospects as window shopping. How can you put your best foot forward and really put something out there that makes them want to learn more, that makes them want to kind of invest and walk in to your agency? So if you don't feel like your deck is where it needs to be, what do you do next? It really is about focusing on the positioning and the copy first, making sure that's dialed in. And that all begins with having a very clear list of the services that you offer. And then you want to wrap that up in a sleek, modern, super well-designed presentation. We love incorporating video and moving elements to just make it dynamic and fun to look at. But the key is to make sure that the copy is there, the positioning is there, what you do is clear and easy to understand for the prospect, and then wrapping that all up in a sleek, beautifully designed deck. So that, again, you're putting that best foot forward, because essentially you're selling more than just services. You're selling trust, credibility, confidence, and just making sure that prospect knows that you are the best bet. You're the safest bet to get them from where they are now to the result that they're trying to achieve. So if you're ready for a capabilities deck that positions your agency as the polished, high value, obvious choice, there's a link below in the description to book a call with my team. We'd love to talk to you. We create sleek, modern capabilities decks that don't just look good. They're strategically designed to guide your prospects from curiosity to confidence so that they choose you without hesitation. And if you're not sure how to clearly explain what your agency actually does or how to package up your services in a way that really clicks with your prospects, check out this video. I walk you through a step-by-step process to clarify your services so that your deck feels focused, confident, and pitch ready.